online and on your smart speaker. The Listener app. Audio built for your day, anytime, anywhere.
Hit News Briefing.
Hi there, Tara Cassidy with you. New fatality figures released today show motorists still aren't getting the message when it comes to road safety. Queensland recorded its highest road death toll in over a decade, with nearly 300 people killed and more than 1,200 nationally. Meanwhile, 287 people died on New South Wales roads and 240 in Victoria, 50 in Tasmania, all increases since last year. Chief Superintendent Chris Stream says not only are the deaths often preventable, but family and friends are left with irreversible grief.
We just can't simply talk about those lives as statistics. I've talked to a number of victims of road traffic crashes, their families. They are deeply disturbed, and whilst some of them might have gotten over their physical injuries, they certainly haven't got over the mental injuries which they've suffered.
Fundraisers were held today for the family of young New South Wales bull rider Hugh Mills, killed in a New Year's Eve rodeo event in Queensland. A 25-year-old was kicked by the animal's back legs. He later died in hospital. Not everyone's happy with the changes to the PBS that have kicked in overnight. While the cost of a script for a non-concession card holder falls from $42.50 to just $30, if you're on a pension, you're a veteran or have a healthcare card, your payment jumps from $68 to $7.30. Meanwhile, Catholics around the world are mourning the death of Pope Benedict XVI.
Get personalised hair loss treatment in 5 minutes delivered to your door. Clinically proven treatment for men and women. One pill taken daily. thehairypill.com.au.
In the Big Bash, the Perth Scorchers have won by 5 wickets in this afternoon's clash against the Melbourne Renegades at Marvel Stadium. The Renegades batted first, scoring 6 for 155 from 20 overs, with the Scorchers coming away with the win, scoring 5 for 156. Melbourne skipper Nick Maddinson also had to be taken off the pitch on a stretcher after suffering a suspected knee injury. And in the NBL, wins last night to Cairns over Adelaide and Perth over the Hawks, with Melbourne United currently leading against Brisbane Bulldogs and
Checking Cairns weather, plenty of wet weather, getting down to 23 tonight, more of the same tomorrow, a top of 29 degrees. And for more news, The Briefing is still on deck over summer, a deep dive on the news that matters each morning on the Listener app.
The MG ZST, with more tech, more safety with 360-degree camera, and more peace of mind. From 25,490 drive away, the award-winning MG ZST. It's the more you've been looking for.
Online and on your smart speaker. Homescape Tiles, just down the range. Salvador Drive, Smithfield.
Hit News Briefing.
Hello, Damien Carven with your news briefing. Retired Australian cricket captain Michael Clarke and his girlfriend are cop fines over that bust-up in a Noosa Park. Queensland Police issuing public nuisance infringement notices and closing off the investigation. Anthony Albanese has reached out to the soon-to-be New Zealand Prime Minister Chris Hipkins. He's set to take over from Jacinda Ardern following a party vote tomorrow.
I've had a conversation with Anthony Albanese. It's been great to be able to talk to him. I'm looking forward to catching up with him, I hope, in person fairly soon. A few things to get through again before that happens.
A dolphin's been attacked by bull sharks in Sydney this morning. Just after 7 a.m, a warning went off when multiple sharks were seen attacking the mammal. A large local surf carnival was suspended, while Manly and Shelley beaches have remained closed all day. Curtly Beale has been granted bail this morning in Sydney. The rugby union star charged overnight for the alleged sexual assault of a 28-year-old woman in Sydney last month. Rugby Australia has suspended Beale from all forms of the sport, pending the conclusion of legal proceedings. Prince William has taken time out to chat with those affected by the recent floods in Western Australia's northwest. A number of towns still cut off, relying on diesel generators. The Prince joining residents on a web link.
You've got people like you guys looking out for each other and supporting each other. That's what really matters, and so you're getting everyone through it.
And UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak says he's done the wrong thing after being fined for not wearing a seatbelt.
Get in early for the Williams Back to School sale. Get 20% off big brands like Colorado, Clarks and Harrison for big savings and a massive range of school shoes. Walk this way to Williams.
Aussie Alex de Minaur made it look easy in the end. A straight sets win to advance to the fourth round at the Australian Open. He beat Frenchman Benjamin Bonzi 7-6, 6-2, 6-1.
I'm very happy, I can't lie. As a kid, this is what you train for, to be playing on this court in front of you guys in the biggest stages of the world.
That audio on 9. Up next, it's Alexi Popperin and American team Shelton. And in the L action tonight, it's the Sydney Sixers and Sydney Thunder.
Partly cloudy skies continuing for the Tablelands with the slight chance of a shower getting to a low of 20 degrees tonight. Partly cloudy again tomorrow with a max of 31. It's the daily stories that matter in under 20 minutes. Just search for the Briefing podcast on Listener, download the app now and listen for free.
Isers Hit 102.5.
Maloof Autos, 11 new car brands, 2 sites, 1 family. Hit News Briefing.
Hello, Damien Carven with your news briefing. Tensions between China and America are intensifying over alleged spy balloons. Beijing says it owns the balloons, but claims it's mainly used for weather research and deviated from its planned course. But the US has rejected that, with Secretary of State now delaying a visit to China. Foreign expert Dr. Keith Suter telling 7 it's tense times.
What the United States is trying to do is to create a ring of steel around China. And of course the Chinese don't like this. The Chinese want to drive the Americans out of that region.
Back home, residents in Port Macquarie on the New South Wales mid-north coast continued with the clean-up after yesterday's bizarre mini-cyclone. A hailstorm quickly whipped up into a cyclone with winds hitting 120 k's an hour. That prompted over 170 calls to the SES for help. It's all part of some bizarre weather hitting the nation this weekend. Snow in parts of Victoria, humidity in Brisbane, with temps nudging 40 degrees in Perth today. An Australian family is desperately trying to bring their son home after he fell from the rooftop of a 4-storey building in South Korea. Angus Catt suffered critical chest and brain injuries in the fall last month. He's now in an induced coma. So far, more than $200,000 has been donated to a fundraiser for the 26-year-old. Elon Musk is off the hook, with the jury deciding he didn't deceive investors by tweeting about financing to take Tesla private. He could have copped a bill for billions of dollars in damages if the jury had found him liable.
Join the community that helps make wishes come true. Visit makeawish.org.au to make your donation today. That's makeawish.org.au.
In sport, a hot one at Optus Stadium in Perth with the Big Bash Grand Final set to get underway shortly. Scorchers strong favourites at home against the Brisbane Heat. To India, and the Australians continue their 4-day camp ahead of the first test in Nagpur later in the week. Skipper Pat Cummins says they're ready for whatever the wickets produce.
You know, coming here to India, a lot of the talks around big spinning wickets, maybe fast test matches, but it's not always the case. You know, needing it in the right time.
Staying fine, light winds about. Then tomorrow it's going to be partly cloudy, hot though, 37 degrees the max. And it's the daily stories that matter in under 20 minutes. Search the Briefing podcast on Listener, download the app now and listen for free.
More style. More tech. More agility. The MG ZST. It's the more you've been looking for.
Our Listener app is the new home of Townsville's Hit 103.1.
Ray White Townsville. Choose your agent. Choose your results.
Hit News Briefing.
Hello, Alicia McFarland with your news briefing. The death toll from Cyclone Gabrielle in New Zealand has risen to 11 and it's feared that number will rise. The country's PM Chris Hipkins has cancelled his upcoming visit to Fiji to support the country during the crisis.
We know that this recovery is going to come with a big price tag, and we will have to once again reprioritise and refocus our efforts and our resources.
The Greens are offering an olive branch to Labor in its effort to pass the safeguard mechanism, which would lower the emissions cap for big polluters. Party leader Adam Bandt says he wants no new coal and gas projects in exchange for their support, but that proposition is an offer, not an ultimatum. Industry Minister Ed Husick has told Sky News the government is open to constructive negotiations.
People wanted their parliament to work. They understand that there will be different parties that will be housed within those parliaments, but they want answers to some of the big things that concern Australians, and they want to be able to get a sense of hope out of the way that the parliament's working, that positive change is being made.
Federal police have charged an Austrian woman after she allegedly swallowed nearly a kilo of cocaine to smuggle into Australia. The 27-year-old allegedly swallowed 124 pellets. 8 of them she passed on the flight and re-swallowed. Today is the 81st anniversary of the bombing of Darwin back in World War II. More than 250 people lost their lives when some 240 Japanese aircraft bombed the city in 2 separate raids.
If you're in an accident that contacts a power pole, wires or pillar box, stay in the vehicle if safe. Call 000 or Ergon and wait for help. Remember, stay, call, wait.
In sport, India is on the verge of retaining the Border Gavaskar Trophy. It's after Australia lost 9 wickets in less than a session at today's day 3 of the second test. India's chasing 115 for victory. They're sitting on 1 for 14 at lunch. A win today for the Storm and the West Tigers in the NRL pre-season challenge. On the field now are the Bulldogs and the Sharks. Later tonight, the Dolphins and the Titans will do battle. And in the NBL, the Sydney Kings have a chance at back-to-back titles after beating the Cairns Taipans in today's
Chance of showers for the rest of your Sunday in Townsville. We're dropping to 24 tonight. Tomorrow a shower or 2 and 31 degrees. More showers on Tuesday and Wednesday. Don't forget the Listener app is the home of your local news. Join now to listen live or on demand.
More style. More tech. More agility. The MG ZST. It's the more you've been looking for.
On air, online, and on your smart speaker.
Tropical Phoenix Garden Restaurant. Dine in, takeaway or delivery. Hit News Briefing.
Hello, Alicia McFarland with your news briefing. The Defence Minister is playing down concerns the AUKUS submarine deal will lead Australia into potential conflict with China. Critics have lashed out at the project, saying it'll cost Australia a promise to join any US battle. But Richard Miles has told the ABC despite the US and UK pact, Australia won't be drawn into those types of decisions.
I made a speech to Parliament which outlined questions of sovereignty, not just in relation to obviously the capabilities that we have within our Defence Force, but also in respect of the use of our continent, which made it clear that we, in all that we do, we maintain complete sovereignty for Australia.
At least 16 people have reportedly died after a strong earthquake struck in southern Ecuador and northern Peru. The 6.8 magnitude quake hit the Pacific coast overnight. Authorities say about 380 people have been injured in the tremor. Police are investigating a sudden death at a popular beach in Perth this afternoon. A person was pulled from the waters of South Beach in Fremantle unresponsive. Paramedics attempted to perform CPR, but they sadly couldn't be revived. An urgent recall is underway for a popular condiment sold nationwide. There are fears certain series organic hulled and unhulled tahini jars could contain salmonella bacteria. Federal politicians are expected to vote on legislation this week which will allow a referendum on the Indigenous voice to Parliament. The Albanese government is urging its opponents to show goodwill on the measure.
Beyond Blue is here to help you achieve your best possible mental health. For more information, advice and support, visit beyondblue.org.au today.
In sport, it's looking like the Bulldogs have bagged a win against the West Tigers in their round 3 clash at Belmore today. A short time ago, they were leading 26-6. Meanwhile, the Raiders and Sharks are not too far off hitting the field in Canberra. The Green Machine eager for victory after a winless start to the season. And NBL MVP Xavier Cooks has made his NBA debut with the Washington Wizards just hours after his first workout with the team. He came off the bench and hit the court for 4 minutes in the Wizards' last win Sacramento Kings.
Showers across Mackay and the Whitsundays, getting down to an overnight low of 23 degrees. More wet weather expected for tomorrow, heading for a top of 31. It's the daily stories that matter in under 20 minutes. Search the Briefing podcast on Listener, download the app now and listen for free.
The MG ZST, with more tech, more safety with 360-degree camera, and more peace of mind. From 25,490 drive away, the award-winning MG ZST. It's the more you've been looking for.
On air, online, and on your smart speaker. Red Rooster, craveable golden crunchy fried chicken. In store or delivery.
Hit News Briefing.
Hey there, I'm Anne Stone. There are tributes for the Sydney paramedic who was fatally stabbed at a McDonald's car park. Stephen Toger had been wrapping up his shift when he was attacked. The father of one was about to welcome his second child with his wife Madison. The alleged offender, a 21-year-old man, is currently undergoing a psychiatric assessment. A New South Wales Ambulance Commissioner, Dominic Morgan, says everyone's struggling to come to terms with Stephen's loss.
I had the privilege of meeting with his mother and father and wife and sister this morning, who, as you can imagine, are just beside themselves with this tragic loss.
Coles has been caught up in the Latitude Financial Services breach, one of the largest in Australia's history. People who've taken out a Coles credit card through Latitude have had their private data exposed. The retailer says it's yet to hear exactly how many customers are affected. And briefly, aged care workers will get a 15% pay rise in next month's federal budget. There's a recount underway in the New South Wales seat of Ryde. It's the last to be officially called after the March state election. Japan's PM has been evacuated unhurt after a man threw a smoke bomb at him just before he was due to give a speech. French President Emmanuel Macron has signed into law controversial reforms to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64. And a Spanish woman has spent 500 days hiding deep in a cave in Russia as part of an experiment closely monitored by scientists. The 50-year-old began her challenge back in November 2021 before the outbreak of the Ukraine war and the death of the Queen.
Join the community that helps make wishes come true. Visit makeawish.org.au to make your donation today. That's makeawish.org.au.
The Warriors have beaten the Cowboys 22-14 in their NRL clash in Auckland this afternoon. While plays underway in the Knights and Panthers game in Newcastle, a short time ago the Knights were leading 8 points to 2. Later tonight is the M1 Derby on the Gold Coast with the Titans up against the Broncos. Meantime, Melbourne's Tui Kamakamika is facing a 2-match ban after his dangerous hit on Manly skipper Daly Cherry Evans during last night's 18-8 loss to the Sea Eagles. Also due to front the judiciary is Manly winger Raymond Gallagher for a shoulder charge on Paul Munster.
Mostly fine across central Queensland for the rest of your day tomorrow. Completely clear skies, a top of 32 degrees. And it's the daily stories that matter in under 20 minutes. Search the Briefing podcast on Listener. Download the app now and listen for free.
Introducing Australia's best at MG, like the MG3, Australia's best-selling light hatch with 15-inch alloy wheels, Apple CarPlay, and 7-year warranty from just $18,990 drive away. Available now.
On air, online, and on your smart speaker. Sunstate Motorcycles, the corner of Old Maryborough Road and Nissan Street by Alba.
Hit News Briefing.
Hi there, Isabel Everett with your news briefing. The pomp and pageantry has begun with the coronation of King Charles getting underway in a couple of hours' time. Thousands are lining the streets of London with 6,000 members of the armed forces taking part in the event. World leaders, including our PM, will shortly start arriving at Westminster Abbey. The King's former butler, Grant Harold, has told Sky it's something the King's been preparing for a long time.
I think that without any question they're both going to be nervous, but I very much doubt we'll see it, as I said, because they're such professionals at this, and there has been rehearsals going on behind closed doors, which is important to make sure that it goes without any issues.
It's the first time in 70 years we've seen such an event, the last, of course, being when Queen Elizabeth was crowned in 1953. A Queensland man has been extradited to WA over a sexual assault that allegedly happened more than 30 years ago. The 48-year-old, who was 17 at the time, is accused of breaking into the woman's Perth home, assaulting her at knife point. A breakthrough in forensic technology led police to the arrest. If you haven't already got your winter woolies out, you might want to hustle. A cold front is bringing cold air from Antarctica, delivering temps 4 to 8 degrees below average for this time of year across much of Australia's southeast, while there'll be strong winds off the New South Wales coast and dangerous surf until Tuesday. And COVID-19 has officially been downgraded from its global health emergency status.
Wherever the journey takes you, you can rely on Century batteries to take you there. Proudly Australian made since 1928. Visit centurybatteries.com.au.
The Panthers have downed the Warriors 18-6 in a fiery clash at Suncorp Stadium, while the Sharks are on field against the Dolphins with NRL Master Coach Wayne Bennett celebrating his 900th premiership game. And today's Magic Round action wraps up with Souths tackling the Storm. Coach Jason Demetrio says Melbourne's had the wood over them the past couple of years.
They're starting to play some good footy. Jerome's back and Nelson's back, so they didn't play last time we played them, so they're a lot
Mostly sunny across the Fraser Coast, a low of 12 degrees tonight, top of 28 and more clear skies on the way tomorrow. And it is the daily stories that matter in under 20 minutes. Search the Briefing podcast on Listener. Download the app now and listen for free.
More style. More tech. More agility. The MG ZST, it's the more you've been looking for.
On air, online, and on your smart speaker. Scholarships now open at Mary MacKillop Catholic College. Apply online.
Hit News Briefing.
Hi, I'm Alicia McFarland. Police have shot dead a man in Brisbane while investigating a reported domestic violence incident. Emergency crews were called to a home in Grange this afternoon where a man had reportedly been stabbed by another man. Upon arrival, shots were fired. Police remain at the scene. The Prime Minister has expressed his concerns over China's movements in the Indo-Pacific. Leaders at the G7 summit have issued a strong statement calling for China to halt its activity in the East and South China Seas over concerns of coercion. Anthony Albanese says he supports the status quo.
What we need to do is to make sure we work in a way that enhances peace, security and stability in the region.
Meanwhile, the federal opposition has given its endorsement to an historic climate deal between Australia and the United States. The new agreement aims to strengthen collaboration on clean energy technology, bolster support for the hydrogen industry, and facilitate the processing of critical minerals. Liberal Senator Simon Birmingham has told the ABC it strikes the right balance.
This compact, this agreement is welcome and it is complementary with agreements that Australia previously signed under the coalition government with Germany, with Japan, Singapore or the United Kingdom.
A massive drug bust has resulted in the seizure of more than $20 million worth of cannabis linked to a syndicate operating on remote farms in Queensland. Police uncovered nearly 3,000 plants hidden in 19 large greenhouses west of Brisbane.
Wherever the journey takes you, you can rely on Century batteries to take you there. Proudly Australian made since 1928. Visit centurybatteries.com.au.
In sport, the Bulldogs have picked up their first win in almost a month, defeating the Titans 20-18 after an impressive second half comeback. While the Titans' Tino Fasuamala-Awi has joined a fleet of players now in doubt for Origin. The captain was placed on report for a lifting tackle, meaning he may have to miss the May 31 opener. And Aussie boxer Andrew Maloney has been rushed to hospital after a brutal knockout fight in Las Vegas. Undefeated Japanese star Junto Nakatani proving too good, claiming the super flyweight title.
Clear for the rest of the day in Toowoomba, dropping to lows of 5 degrees overnight. Sunny tomorrow, a top of 17 degrees with some southeasterly winds. Tuesday and tops of 18. And for the latest local news throughout the day, download the Listener app.
Introducing Australia's best at MG, like the MG3, Australia's best-selling light hatch with 15-inch alloy wheels, Apple CarPlay, and 7-year warranty from just $18,990 drive away. Available now.
On air, online, and on your smart speaker. You need tools? We've got tools. Total Tools Toowoomba. Every tool, every trade.
Hit News Briefing.
Hi, it's Lachlan Itter with your news briefing. Anthony Albanese has touched down in Vietnam for his first visit to the country as Prime Minister. He'll meet with local leaders tomorrow, with China's activity in the South China Sea expected to dominate discussions. The PM has also confirmed Australia will be offering another round of support for Ukraine.
We'll continue to monitor the situation and to deliver what we can, when we can.
The death toll from a crash and derailment involving multiple trains in eastern India is closing in on 300. Another 850 are believed to be injured in what is the country's deadliest rail incident in more than 20 years. This man was on board at the time.
10-15 people fell on me when the accident happened and everything was haywire. I hurt my hand and also the back of my neck.
That translation from the ABC. Back home, and a mother has died in an early morning blaze in regional New South Wales. Her 2 young sons and their father escaped with burns and smoke inhalation after their home in Orange went up in flames. There's a fresh warning about COVID. Cases have increased by nearly 30% over the last month, and the latest stats show the majority of Aussies haven't had a booster shot in more than half a year. Anyone with symptoms is being reminded to stay home. And authorities have been working to free a humpback whale calf which became tangled off the New South Wales Illawarra coast. It's been a runaway three-way victory for the Warriors against the Dolphins in New Zealand. After a tight first half, NZ surged ahead for a 30-8 win on their home turf. Meantime, Corey Oates returns from injury when the Broncos take on the Sharks in Sydney tonight. He'll replace Selwyn Cobbo, who copped a knock to his hip in Origin. Coach Kevin Walters says they're looking forward to getting into it.
It's going to be a great occasion down there, against Kerala, who
an immersive experience is only possible when one truly feels everything.
Kath Dixon Family Centre, providing quality and flexible childcare. This is Hit Weather.
Mostly fine for Toowoomba across the rest of your day, getting down to 12 degrees tonight, showers and a top of 18 tomorrow. And it's the daily stories that matter in under 20 minutes. Search the Briefing podcast on Listener. Download the app now and listen for free.
The MG HS mid-sized SUV. More space, more safety tech with MG Pilot, and more peace of mind. All from only $29,990 drive away. The MG HS. It's the more you've been looking for.
On air, online, and on your smart speaker. You need tools? We've got tools. Total Tools Toowoomba. Every tool, every trade.
Hit News Briefing.
Hi there, I'm Anne Stone. Russia says the head of a private military company who staged an armed rebellion will move to Belarus and won't face prosecution. The Wagner Group commander, who ordered his troops to march on Moscow, reached a deal with the Kremlin, averting a possible civil war. Correspondent Peter Grester has told the ABC the Kremlin is clearly panicking.
It's undercut the primary reason for going to fight in Ukraine, for launching the special military operation, as he calls it, which was originally intended to make Russia safer, when patently it's done quite the opposite.
Social media giants could be fined 5% of their global turnover for misleading the Australian public. It's part of new measures from the Albanese government tackling misinformation from big tech. Queensland's cracking down on dangerous dogs to head off any more dog attacks. The government's considering banning certain breeds and increasing penalties, including possible jail time for serious offending. People living in the Adelaide Hills town of Basket Range are on high alert for possible flooding from a failing dam, while a dam alert continues for another town near Wollonga, south of Adelaide. The South Australia's wet weekend continues. And a massive asteroid the size of a 3-storey building is expected to pass by the Earth tonight our time. But don't panic, it's not expected to pose a threat. Broncos coach Kevin Walters wants his players to fix their attitude after their 16-12 loss to the Titans. He says he was disappointed for the 40,000 people that came to watch the match today. While the Cowboys and Rabbitohs game is underway, a short time ago the Cowboys leading 4-0. That'll be followed by the Roosters and Raiders to wrap up round 17. Alex de Minaur will face Carlos Alcaraz tonight in the Queen's final in London, and the Aussies are looking to build on their lead
An
of
immersive
92
experience is
heading
only
into
possible
day
when
4 of
one
the Women's
truly
Ashes.
feels everything.
Forbes Batteries and Electronics, your local Telstra partner. This is Hit Weather.
A sunny afternoon for Toowoomba and a top of 24 degrees, dropping to 8 tonight, sunny and 18 tomorrow. It's the daily stories that matter in under 20 minutes. Search the Briefing podcast on Listener, download the app now and listen for free.
experts going above and beyond in real estate. 91.1 Hot FM. Sunshine Coast traffic.
Crews are still on the scene for a multi-vehicle crash southbound of the Blythe Road exit, the Bruce Highway. Delays up to 10 minutes back through Parklands. Slight delays inbound Mountain Creek, Sunshine Motorway. Cairns Road's a little bit busy at the Nicklin Way roundabout from the exit down to Brisbane, Bruce Highway, all good. Red Roosters, $2.95 snack subs, each with succulent chicken, crisp lettuce and your choice of sauce packed into a sub. The Roosters calling. Get it where you can, while you can. Available all day. And it's Jason Payne with another update in and out on 91.1 Hot FM.
The MGHS mid-sized SUV. More space, more safety tech with MG Pilot, and more peace of mind. All from only $29,990 drive away. The MGHS. It's the more you've been looking for.
Panasonic Nano X air purification air conditioning at AC Store Kawana. Across the Sunshine Coast on 91.1 and iHeartRadio. This is Hot 91 News.
Hi, I'm Matt McDonald. There are growing fears for 4 ADF personnel following Friday's horrific helicopter crash off the Whitsundays, with hopes of finding them alive fading. A massive search involving up to 800 people has resumed this morning, with crews retrieving some of the wreckage from the stricken Taipan helicopter. It's been revealed the 4 were from the 6th Aviation Regiment, based at Sydney's Holsworthy Army Barracks. The federal government's confirmed job seeker payments will rise by more than the $40 a fortnight it had promised. Indexation will see the payments increase by at least $56 a fortnight in September. Speaking to the ABC, Social Services Minister Amanda Rishworth defended the increase amid claims it's still not enough.
That's what the CPI figures are for the 6 months. Obviously, a job seeker is indexed every 6 months. So in March, there was a 3.7% indexation applied.
There are growing concerns the state's housing supply won't be able to keep up with demand as the population soars. An extra 2.2 million people are expected to call southeast Queensland home by 2046. 2 teens have suffered serious burns after a caravan fire in the South Burnett. The blaze broke out in the van on a private property at Wattle Camp near Kingaroy. 1 teen was airlifted to hospital with serious burns to his legs, buttocks and hands, while the second was taken by ambulance. Health officials warn COVID is still a massive threat, with an average of 25 people in Australia dying every day. There have already been 5,000 COVID-related deaths so far this year.
I'm such a weirdo, tattoos from my toes to my earlobe. Was a role model, I never had a hero. I learned how to live through the stereo.
Awaken your senses. The all-new MG5.
Round 22 NRL action continues this afternoon with the Dolphins taking on the Bulldogs in Bundaberg. Then it's the Queensland Derby with the Titans hosting the Cowboys at Seabar Stadium. Last night wins to Penrith, Manly and the Knights. Lions coach Chris Fagan insists there won't be any knee-jerk reactions after the side's 41-point loss to the Suns in Q Clash. Fagan says they just need to put that one behind them.
You don't want to overreact to a loss. You just got to look at it honestly and see it for what it is, and then pick yourself up and go again next week. That's the competition.
England's in control of the 5th Ashes Test, leading Australia by 377 runs with 2 days still to play. The hosts resume tonight at 9 for 389. Cam McAvoy's become the first Aussie man to win a 50 freestyle world title, taking gold in Japan. Katie McEwen won the 200 backstroke before the Aussies won gold and broke the world records in the 4x100 mixed freestyle relay.
Panasonic Nano X air purification air conditioning at AC Store Kawana. Heading to the beach, 91.1 Hot FM, Beach and Surf with Robbie Sherwell.
Afternoon, we got light variable onshore winds under 10 knots, so still relatively clean conditions. we have half to 2/3 of a metre of east-south-easterly swell sitting at about 12-second intervals. We had a low tide, though, half an hour ago. It is best up between Peregian and Sunshine. Just got to look for a decent sandbank. Other than that, down between Markoola, Twin Waters, Northern Maroochydore and the Kiwana stretch. And once again, just search all up and down that stretch for a decent sandbar. If you're out there thinking about a swim, beautiful day again. All beaches are open. Water is 21 degrees. Only swim between the red and yellow flags.
And a
Learn to
massive
surf
experience
with
is
Robbie
only
Sherwell's
possible
XL
when one
Surfing Academy.
truly feels
Inquire now
every
about all our
kick.
Learn to Surf programs at xlsurf.com.au. We'll check beaches and surf again in the morning at 6.
Sunshine Coast Flooring Extra Batinia, Showroom Trade Centre, Kaluan.
What a beautiful afternoon, and it's going to be the same like this tomorrow. 23 the max. We're sitting on that right now at Cotton Tree.